Good day, everyone. Dan here, back with another class preview for Nostalrius and the Elysium Fresh Start launch server. Today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite rogue builds of all time. Now, I loved this build in Vanilla, I loved this build in Burning Crusade when we got the Mutilate ability and it was the new hotness that was for the rogues. However, even without Mutilate, I do believe Assassination has an immense amount of potential to do the most damage possible when it comes to getting a rogue in a raid and doing what needs to be done. Now, a lot of people do favor combat, not just for the fact they're consistent with it. It is a very solid, straight-up damage build. However, I believe Mutilate absolutely has a place, if not a very strong place, in a raiding environment. So let's talk about the stuff that's going on here. You see points are spread across all three trees, obviously mostly focusing on Assassination. But what is Assassination about? It's about Backstab, it's about stacking poison, and it's about getting as many eviscerates as you can in the shortest amount of time. A lot of people also go for the improved slice and dice because of poisons. However, in my opinion, if you get improved poison and vial poison, you don't really need improved slice and dice. Yeah, it helps, but if you're using the fast daggers that you should, really doesn't matter. Also, as you will see, precision is a part of this build, which means if you're attacking from behind as a rogue, you don't need to stack up a ton of hit. Your hit is well covered, especially since you don't have to deal with blocks, you don't have to deal with parries, all you have to do is deal with dodges. So you have a lot more flexibility when it comes to your stats. It's very important to remember. So like I said, the backstab ability is going to be very important to this build. We have opportunity. We have improved backstab. We have murder, which is awesome. Malice, great, although it doesn't specifically help backstab. And then lethality. Increases the critical strike damage bonus of your Sinister Strike, Gouge, Backstab, Ghost Strike, and Hemorrhage abilities by 30%. Obviously, Backstab, again, is the important one here. So, for Backstab alone, we're just talking about the ability Backstab. If you just stood there as a rogue and you spammed Backstab the entire time, that's it. You didn't do anything else. It has a 30% increase to critical strike damage. It has a 30% increased critical strike chance, an additional 5% chance to hit, and increased damage dealt by it by 20%, all stacking up on top of one ability. That's one ability. In addition, your eviscerates are automatically going to do additional 15% damage. That's also very important. Seal Fate. Your critical strikes for abilities that add combo points have a 100% chance to add an additional combo point. This means with this bonus critical strike chance, you're going to be stacking an additional combo point on top of your targets, which means you're going to be getting eviscerates very quickly. One after another, after another, after another. You're going to be able to really keep them moving. And if you want to be a little more flexible with this build, I can understand people taking the points out of murder, not out of Relentless Strikes, but out of murder, and putting them into improved slice and dice. I get that. I totally get that. I think the 2% bonus against humanoids, giant beasts, and dragonkin, I think that's worth it. However, with the fact that your poisons do inflict quite a lot of damage and keeping them stacked up very high is important, slice and dice can be good. In addition, vigor, a lot of people don't like to take vigor. I think it's fine. It's 1 point. It's worth taking, and it improves your capacity to do damage. Cold blood, obviously, gives you that instant critical strike you need to help burst something down. It's going to be great when you stack it up with an opening backstab after you've ambushed or got a bleed on a target. It's going to do a lot with your eviscerates. It's going to help out a ton, and it's going to be stacking up an additional combo point because of Seal Fate. Now for the poisons. The poisons is an entirely different mechanic that is also working in your favor right now. You have vial poisons, and when you combine this with your deadly poison, it's going to be doing a ton of damage. This increases your damage from poisons by 20% and poison's additional 40% chance to resist dispel effects. Improved poisons increase your chance to apply by 10%. This is going to make attacking with your fast offhand very good, very solid. Now, here is the one other thing that needs to be stated with this build. You have to have specific weapon speeds going into it. Now, I'm not like, you need a 1.8 or 1.9 in one hand and a 1.3 in the other hand. That not specific in that way, but you want the slowest weapon you can possible in your main hand, and you want the fastest weapon possible in your left hand. So your offhand is going to be attacking very quickly, stacking up dots, stacking up as many poisons as possible, and your right hand, which is going to be your backstab, is going to be stacking up the single damage strike as much as you can with those backstabs, with the improved crits, with the improved damage, with the seal fate going on. And then the last mechanic of this build is Relentless Strikes. Now, this website is a little buggy at the moment, but essentially says when you hit a target with a finishing move and it has 5 combo points on it, you're going to get an automatic 25 energy back when you finish hitting with that finishing move. So whether it's Eviscerate, whether it's Sweeping Strikes, or rather Slice and Dice, I should say, or something else, it's going to give you that extra 25 energy to move into your next combo point builder, whether that's going to be a backstab or something else. That's going to do a lot of good. That's going to make you speed up your rotation even more rapidly. Now, there is one set of throwaway points in this build, and this is the one I've always waffled on since time immemorial. Lightning reflexes. I put them in dodge versus Sinister Strike and Improved Gouge. Mostly because, as Assassination, I'm not going to be using Gouge, and I'm not going to be using Sinister Strike. This is specifically a raid build, which means mobs aren't going to be looking at me, and I'm going to be behind them the entire time, which means, guess what? I'm not using Gouge or Sinister Strike, so that automatically means for me, I'm just going to put them into dodge, and in case something tries to take a swing at me, I have a little better chance of not falling over and dying instantaneously. With that being said, though, those are my thoughts on the Assassination Rogue for Vanilla, for Nostalrius and Elysium. If you have any thoughts, feel free to post them in the comments, the YouTube comments. I certainly read all of them. Feel free to post them and discuss them in Discord. I welcome that. I welcome anyone joining our Discord, in fact. And if you have any classes you want to see me talk about, feel free to post them in the comments or in Discord as well. Or feel free to message them to me directly. I don't mind that one bit. But those are my thoughts on the Assassination Rogue. I think it has a place in raids. I think it's a solid place. I think while it can be a little bursty and it can have aggro issues, as long as you know how to manage those, you have a threat meter going, I think it's a solid addition to any raid. Thank you everyone for being here. I've been Dan, and this has been youtube.com/The Rob and Dan Show. Happy trails, everyone.